Hello everyone, this is Ming Jong. Welcome to today's market analysis for the S&P 500 E-minutes futures for the session of 18th of September. So as usual in this video, I'm going to show you the market recap in the last session and also a trade review in the 3 minutes time frame, including all the exits, entry, and also the rationale behind. And yesterday I talked about the trading the rising wedge pattern, and today's video, the trade review section, also going to cover the rising wedge pattern because it's just happened that I have another profitable trade trading the rising wedge pattern. So I will just walk you through all the details and also things to watch out for as well. And going forward, I will include my bias, the current market outlook, and also together with my trading plan at the key levels as well. Alright, so let's just get started. So as we can see in this daily chart again for the S&P 500, so yesterday was bearish, but take a look at this. So we have an increasing of the supply, yet the result that we get is a demand tail here. So there was a demand tail forming on the yesterday bar with an increasing of the supply, and it's very close to the immediate support level that I highlighted in my video yesterday at around, I think that's a 33.30 if I remember correctly. But anyway, let me just quickly take a look here. So that is, yeah, sorry, that's a 3300. Yeah, that's a 3300. And yeah, so basically there was presence of the demand for yesterday bar. So I just expect that today we could see some kind of the continuation to the upside. But I will dive into the current market condition in the later part of the video. First of all, let me just get into the hourly time frame and let's talk about what's happening for the yesterday's session. So as we can see in the hourly chart here, just prior to the US opening session at about 9:30 p.m. my time here, so it's just right here, and prior to that we have a relatively sharp reaction here. So that actually happened right after we broke out from the immediate support level at 3380. Subsequent showed the inability to rally up, and then followed by this sharp reaction. So you can see that right after we have the kind of the reaction, sharp reaction, and almost touching 3300 level, which was the previous swing low level. So that is the first line of defense, and right after that we get a relief rally followed by a test, and eventually we have a rally up, but the rally didn't really take the S&P 500 to overcome the strong resistance bar here, or the supply zone right here. So if you recall in my video yesterday, I do talk about potential long entry if we have seen a bounce up around the supporting level at around 3300, and also potential short entry, because what I would like to see for yesterday was actually a test of this supply zone, which represented by these two bearish bar here. Alright, so you can see that we kind of have a nice rally up after we have a test of this prior swing down here. So this is a nice rally up, but as we see the price approaching the supply zone here, it just touches about 3360, and you can see there are two rejection tail here, so suggests the presence of the supply and followed by a relatively sharp sell off. So I will just dive into the 3 minutes time frame and elaborate a bit more on how I actually take advantage of the rising wedge pattern and to trade it and write it down to the downside. Okay, so you can see that this is the 3 minutes time frame, and I have already marked up the rising wedge, and you can see it very clearly in the chart, hopefully. So before I just explain it, let me give you a bit of the context. I talk about the supply zone, so represented by the 2 hourly bar there. So I guess that's somewhere around there, range from 33.80 to around 33.50. So what I would like to see is actually to see how the price rally into the supply zone here, and then I will just make my judgment accordingly. So you can see that just right within the supply zone, we have seen the wedge is forming. So there's a rising wedge forming right into the supply zone. And what does it really tell us? So what is a rising wedge? So apart from the shape or the pattern that as pattern trader always look out for, the rising wedge actually signifies one thing here, which is very important. I need to emphasize this again. So this is actually a shortening of the thrust. So we have seen the shortening of the upward thrust right after a nice and strong rally. So that is a first clue. So we have seen the change of character, and that actually stopped this uptrend. And subsequently, we have also seen this thrust get shortened and shorter. Especially you can see that the last few candles, 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 rejection tails showed up, and also look at all this. It's kind of forming a rounding top at the last few candles here. So definitely suggested the up momentum was fading. But just by having the exhaustion of the up momentum doesn't really mean that the trend will reverse and definitely go down and touch the bottom here. So first thing that we need to pay attention to, especially when it's forming the rising wedge pattern, is to actually check the breakout from the uptrend line here. So we can see that this is a nice small candle breaking out and correspond to the this volume, the low volume here. But look at the subsequent candle here. So there's a follow through to the downside in terms of the price action, and we have seen the increasing of the supply. So this is a very first thing, or the first important thing that I would like to pay attention to. I want to see the increasing of the supply level. So that actually showed up here. And subsequently, I did not really short right into the close of this bar. So I just waited for a reaction. So if this is really a sign of weakness, although it's not the largest down wave that we've seen if we compare it to this, but certainly it's just breaking out from this rising wedge with the increasing of the supply. And I just want to give the bull another chance, whether this is just a simple pullback and then continuation to break out. So I just wait for a few more candles, and you can see that subsequently we have 2 kind of bullish candle. So these 2 bullish candles actually, especially in this second candle here, with increasing of the demand, spike of the volume. So it is really bullish. Let's take a look here and let's see what this candle bring us to, or where this candle bring us to. So you can see that despite having this much effort, and the bullish candle actually only just take us right at the resistance level. So it doesn't really seem that bullish to me. So with all this demand coming, if this is all pure demand, then we definitely should see some kind of the big jump like this bullish bar spike ahead. Instead, we get a relatively, well, just a normal candle with this much of the effort. So a lot of effort to push a price up, yet what we get is actually just a normal candle, unlike this type of the big candle or even this candle as well. So that suggested that there are quite a lot of the supply hidden in this volume bar here, despite it's showing as a green volume bar. So you can call it hidden supply come in, and subsequently I just wait for confirmation. So if there is really hidden supply here, then I want confirmation to prove it to me. So here comes the confirmation, and the next bearish bar acted as a confirmation bar, and that actually comes with the increasing of the supply as well, together with the bearish spread. And in terms of the spread, definitely is bearish, but if we just draw a support line here, so this is a typical small range form right after the sign of weakness, a small range showing inability to rally up, and finally confirmed by this breakout bar. So this bar, this confirmation bar, actually break out and also close below the prior support level here. So this gives me the final confirmation and the green light to go ahead to short this. So I just enter short right after the close of this bearish bar. So everything seems very nicely. We have a rising wedge here and suggests that the up momentum is fading. Definitely this is a shortening of the upward thrust, and together with a breakout or breakdown from this rising wedge, and also showing inability to rally up despite all this great efforts behind, and finally with the confirmation of this bearish bar. So that's how I actually traded the rising wedge pattern. So this always gives me a relatively high winning rate. So just don't try to remember all this rising wedge and then trade every single breakout, because context is very important. We always need to look at the context, whether it's a previous resistance zone and it's a natural place to have a reaction, and judged by the volume and also the price action itself. So all this will give us a lot of the senses to just short the trade here. Okay, so there's one concern here, at least that's for me, because if you just take a closer look here, this bar is about 11:30 p.m. my time zone, so it's kind of late in my time zone. Usually I just would like to skip this type of the trade, because once I short it, I will expect or anticipate at least about half an hour, or sometimes most likely is about close to an hour for the trade to just play it out. But I just still go ahead, and a lot of time if I'm sleepy, then I will make quite a lot of the stupid mistakes, things like pressing the wrong button or just typing the wrong stop loss, etc. So I think that's one of the things that I always remind myself, never trade when I'm not in a good shape, such as sleepy. But anyway, in this case, I was still quite alright, so I just shorted and trailed it to the downside, and you can see that all this trailing stop, and I actually just moved my trailing stop right in the middle of this last commitment bar to the downside, and eventually I just got stopped out at this little bullish bar here. And this is a very nice trade, and it's kind of acted as a very profitable trade as well. You can see that it's about 3.4 reward to risk ratio, so definitely a good trade to me. And subsequently we can see that right after the oversold and almost as a test of this prior swing low, then we have another test. So with the increasing of the supply, but despite the increasing of the supply, we did not have any kind of the lower low. So in fact we have a higher low here. So that's a low, and this is a higher low with the increasing of the supply. So I think this is a good sign. So a rally can be expected, and then eventually you can see this kind of the rally, but unfortunately it didn't really overcome the immediate resistance level and no upside follow through, and eventually just drift down with a very low volume here. So I think this is the end of the trade review, and let me just get back to the current time frame with a 1 hour time frame, current market condition. I talk about the presence of demand shown up in the daily chart. So I think we have a chance to have a continuation to the upside, but definitely watch out for the swing low here. It's somewhere around 33.10 or 33.12 or 15. So that's a yellow line, orange line here. So one of the possible things that I could imagine or anticipate is some kind of the test of the swing low, and then followed by a push up. So that could happen. So always keep an open mind. Potential long entry if it shows some kind of the reversal from this support level. If it breaks, then definitely next support level will be around 3300 level. And also if you want to show continuation to the upside, the previous day high, as annotated in the orange line here, is about 3365. So definitely this is the immediate resistance level. And still I'm watching closely these two supply bar here. That's from 3380, yeah, about 3350. So this is the resistance area. So definitely we'll need to see how he actually reacted within this supply zone, especially when it's entering into the supply zone. Right now it's still kind of trading below the supply zone. So my trading plan for today either is to potential short entry when it just shows some kind of the rejection when it touches the resistance area. So just remember that this is the resistance area. We need to see how you actually perform, and when it's a rejection showed up with a weakness together with volume with proper justification, then can enter the short entry. Otherwise there's possibility to long at the support near 3310 as well. So let's see how it actually play out. So overall I think we are still within this big trading range. So in this past few days, although we have a rally, but the rally is relatively weak, couldn't really overcome the immediate resistance level at 3420. So you can see that there's relatively low volume as well. And so overall we're still trading within a 3300 level to 3425. So we need to see how the supply actually emerge, whether it can actually break this immediate support level at 3300 level. If it breaks, then definitely there will be further weakness ahead. So let's see how it actually plays out. Okay, so this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it and get something useful out from the video. So if you like the video, just click the like and also hover to my name or picture to follow me. And do remember to subscribe to my channel so that you get instant notification of my future video ideas. So as usual, if you have any kind of the comments, suggestions or trade ideas or questions you would like to share with me, ask me, feel free to comment it below. I will reply to you. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon. So happy Friday.